Alright, I've been looking at building me a router sled for a while, and I wanted something not out of wood because it may get in the environment, and I wanted something that would be more durable and last longer. It wouldn't warp if it got wet or it wouldn't or whatever. So I was like, if I'm going to make one, I'm going to make one that'll last. So I got on Amazon, and I've looked all over, and you could spend a buku of money on this stuff. So I got on Amazon, and I found these rails here, which is SBR 20, and then I found the cross rails, which is a SFC 20. I figured, man, that'd be great. Them things just slide, and all I have to do is bolt it together, and then I'll make me a plate in the middle for my router. Well, problem is they're not a direct bolt up. And I haven't found any plates where I can buy any. So I got me some 1/2-inch aluminum here I ordered, and I'm going to cut me some plates and drill some holes and see if I can't get it all mounted. Okay, I took me some measurements, and while my chicken scratch may not be easy to read, I wanted my plates 2¼ by 2¼ which is, they're close to that. These outside 4 bolt holes are 1 3/8 center to center, which means they're 11/16 off center. So I marked center on my plate, and then I scribed a line up and down so I could come straight across and get them. And then the center two to go to the top slide is they're 7/8 off center, 1 3/4 hole to hole. So this is what I got laid out. Now these 4 here will be 1/4 inch, and that'll give me about 20 to 30 thousandths around the bolt in case I'm off a little bit, so all that'll line up. And these here I'll drill to 3/16, then I'll tap out to an M6 by 1 tap, and that'll bolt on that other bracket. Once I get one of them drilled, and I know with these 4, and I know it fits, then I can set that on top of there, get me a pattern, and drill straight through it and drill the next one. All right, let's go on to the drill. Alright, now we got our adapter plate on there. We can put our bars in there. Now, since these are both the SBR and FFC 20, since these are the 20s, these blocks and these blocks are the same. Since I got a hole pattern here, I can save one of my aluminum blocks to drill my plexiglass for there and have a hole pattern. So that will be the next step. Alright, working on my router sled. I got a router that I use. It stays mounted to my router table, so I went out and I got this DeWalt set here from Lowe's, and it's 2¼ horsepower, so that should be plenty enough to run my bit. We're gonna open it up and see what's in the box. And everything came in the bag. You start doing stuff like this and it just seems like Christmas almost. That there is simple enough. Just like the picture shows. Now, I went and I ordered a bit for it, for planing. It's a 1/2 inch, got the 3 carbide tip replaceables on it. Got 3 new screws in there. And the tool for tightening it. And I got a piece of plexiglass. So that way I can mount this in the middle of there, and then mount my router sled right here, and we'll be good to go then. So now it's just figuring out how to do it all. Alright, I think I know what I'm going to do now. I got this large hole faceplate that come with it. So I found, and it's bigger than my 2 inch. This is 2.5, and I got a 2 inch spindle or cutter. So I found the center of my plexi, and I marked out the same size hole as what I got here, that 2.5. Put it on there, centered it up. I got the center hole marked, and I got these 4 holes marked. So I will drill them out, and then I will drill out my holes for the side rails. And then what I can do is I can take this plate off, mount the acrylic straight to this base, and I can leave it there. And if I ever want to use my router on anything else, all you have to do is pull them locks, and I can stick that in my plunge base and use it wherever I want to. Now, that is my plan. So let's see how well it works out. First of all, I'm going to try and find a 2.5 hole saw and drill that center one. These outer ones will be pretty easy. Alright, I got my center started here for my drill. I got it backed on the board, that way we don't mess it up punching through. And I got it set up on my drill press just like so. And we're gonna try it out and see. I ain't never done this before, so hopefully I don't break this thing. It took a couple weeks for it to come in. I believe that worked pretty good. It had all kind of chatter. I think that'll work now. I gotta drill my line-up holes. Okay, for some odd reason, I thought these were the 1 3/8, just like the whole pattern on them. Like on my blocks over there. But it's not. I drilled all my holes in 1 3/8 and they won't work. So I remeasured them and I cut some more holes, but when I measured them the second time, I went 1 3/4 instead of 1 5/8. So I got a sheet of plastic here that is not any good because I didn't measure correctly. Measured twice, drilled twice, and it was still wrong. So that ain't supposed to happen, but it did. So now I gotta get me another sheet. Okay, as soon as I messed this one up, I ordered me another one. Laying it out, I realized I'm only going to use this much, so I marked this out, and this is 7.5 inches. Able to mark it off with a square, and I tested this old one with my saws yesterday, and I can cut it easily with the table saw or even with my like 3 teeth per inch bandsaw. So you can cut this either way. It cut pretty easy. So I got that marked, and I'll cut that off with my table saw. I just like using my table saw better. And then I did me a cross mark to find my center. Mark my center just like I did in this one. Once I marked my center, then I was able to take my square this way and this way for these two lines. And you set that up there, and you center it up on all 4 lines and mark your holes for it. Now, the part I messed up last time is these holes here. Because I marked them 1 3/8. It was too close together. I did 1 3/4, and it was too far apart. These blocks here are inch and just shy of 1 5/8. They're metric. So what I did, is I came in my 1/2 inch, because that's what I wanted distance from my edges, and that give me a corner start. And I measured the 1 5/8 here, 1 5/8 here, drew lines every which way. Now I stuck that down there. Okay, that matches up. That matches up. So now I have all my 4 points here, so I can drill holes for these blocks. I'm just hoping I got it right this time. Like I say, this Symbolux cast acrylic works pretty good. I haven't had any issues with it yet, and it peels off pretty clear. This is what I'm using here, and I'm going to save this. You never know what I'll need it for. And I'll have a good piece when I cut off here. But now I'm going to go outside and we'll cut it and then drill my 2 1/2 inch hole. And we'll drill all my smaller holes for bolting up. Alright, well, I'm finally putting it together. I got all my acrylic plate drilled, got my bolts in, finally got my longer screws, got them in, got all that done. So we'll flip it over, and then whenever I get done with using it, all I gotta do is pull my motor out, and if I want to do it for something else, I got the plunge router, or I can just buy me another base. But this base will sit right here. But I want to finish putting it together and straighten out my plywood and force it, and we'll be ready to start cutting. Okay, I finally got it all done. I made one little pass trying to play with it some. It's going to take me a while to figure it out, but this rail system works pretty good. You just don't want to move this out here. You want to hold the middle. You can hold the middle and do it real well. I'm going to make a couple passes and show y'all what this rail system looks like. And I got another video for this board. So whether you're looking at the rail system or at the board, you're both seeing it. So if you want to see it in full action, see me build this, pull up the rail. If you want to see this, and you're looking at the rail, pull up the board. Anyway, vice versa. Here we go. Let's see here. Forgot where I'm at now. I got excited. Go down. 16th. Alright, now that feels pretty good. I got a little bit more. I got probably going to take one more pass on it and then I'll flip it over. So if you're watching this, when I'm making this, you see how easy it is to do. I can still feel a little bit in here. I don't know where I'm getting the deflection at, but what I'm feeling ought to sand out pretty easy. Alright, so what do y'all think about my setup here? I finally got it all done. I've done 2 of these boards with it so far, and it seems to work well as I've seen any of them work. I've never used one before. In fact, the last router I had, I bought 20 years ago, and I got it on a router table. So that just tells you how up to date I am with some of this stuff that's going on. But I've seen some of these setups similar on say Crafted Elements or Amazon. They go $400 to $500 just for the sled. But when I bought the pieces, it came up to about 190 bucks. So 190 bucks, you get everything but the router and the and the bit. So you get the two side rails, you get these rails, you get the aluminum, your bolts, your plexiglass. That's if you only have to buy one. But everything for around $200. So $200, I build my own. $500, you buy it. Well, yeah, I'm gonna build my own for $200. That's just the type of person I am. But I'll leave it up to y'all. Y'all can do whatever you want. But I've really enjoyed this. Now, one thing I did notice though, with the two boards I did cut, I didn't have it on the slowest speed. I went up a couple notches, and that helped out, let it cut better. And you can feel the edge of the cutter as you go through here. But if you come back over, if you do your last pass, a thinner pass, and then you come back over the same one, it gets rid of some of that. But still, I've already sanded one down with the 80 grit, and it sands down fairly quickly. So I'm pleased with the way this works. Now, if I can just get my pouring right to where I don't have all the pits, I'll be doing real good. Alright, so y'all just tell me what you think. You know, you can ask a question, leave a comment. If you like it, thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. And I appreciate you watching anyway. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Oh, if it don't fall over.